Welcome to Maroon Mindset Podcast. It's your host, Nicole McIntosh. COVID-19 has engulfed the world. It's a pandemic, as we know. And, it's an opportunity for us to reflect on how we cope and what coping means. It's an uncertain time, and uncertainty can evoke different emotions, a range of emotions. And it's important that we acknowledge each other's feelings and recognize where people are and why they are where they are. And it's an opportunity for us to realize how much we rely on key workers who sometimes have felt in the past that we're not valued. I am a key worker. I am a nurse. I am not on the front line, but I stand in solidarity with those who are currently on the front line. We stand together. We stand together with all the key workers in all the professions, in all the occupations that now realize that society values us. Too often we've relied and focused on people who, yes, their roles are very important, but it's a crisis like COVID-19 that really focuses the mind to know what key workers really mean. Key workers are those who we can rely on even when the going gets tough. Key workers are special people. There's goodwill. There is enormous dedication, resilience in the face of adversity, determination to make a difference to society. Special people are key workers. They are key and they're workers. So we stand in solidarity with them, we pray for them, and we support them. We help to keep their morale up. We do this using the talents that we've been blessed with. So if you know a key worker, say thank you. Ask what they need. Help in whatever way you can. Be a blessing to a key worker. So this podcast is dedicated to us thinking about what COVID-19 means and living with uncertainty. And we really are in unprecedented times. It might sound like a cliche, but you know what? We cannot say it enough. We're living in unprecedented times. And each of us has to face this in our own way and be allowed to face it in our own way. We don't know how long we'll be living in this surreal environment where we are on lockdown, we're on partial lockdown, full lockdown, depending on where you are. We are bombarded with media. And sometimes I just find it that watching the news is just depressing, but we have to watch the news to be informed. So it's about using our time wisely. It's about not feeling pressured to do stuff either. It's about being free to do nothing, to do something, to do anything, as long as we're respecting the social isolation rules. So the uncertainty of the time, I was just watching the news and it was talking about getting some guidance as to how long this will be and the second wave and immunity, vaccines, treatments, and it's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. It's just really uncertain. And some people cope with uncertainty better than others. For some of us, what we do, including me, is I focus on my circle of influence. I focus on the things that I can control. So I can control how I react to the uncertainty. I can't control the uncertainty, but I can control how much of the news I watch. I can't control the news, but then I can control how I reach out to other people and how much they need or want and leave the door open for them to know that I am there. That I can control. So by focusing on my circle of influence, I'm able to keep calmer. I'm able to keep calmer because I'm informed. And I'm able to keep calmer because I know I have the power to zone out as I need to. So I get lots of messages on social media messaging apps, and I have learned to just let some of them slide. I don't even open some of them because I know that in my way of coping, that's just going to interject and interrupt. And sometimes you have to know that enough is enough and that you're in charge of your circle of influence. So if we all focus on our circle of influence, we might just over a period of time feel calmer, and the calmness will spread, and maybe some of the messages will stop and people will reach out and let the door be open and let others know that the door is open, and leave it at that. People know who they can turn to. Believe me, people know who they can turn to. And so you don't have to worry about being bombarded. People know that we're all in it together, so they won't take liberties. They won't. Not in a time like this. So yes, it's coping with uncertainty, living with uncertainty, and looking after your family, coping with the uncertainty of jobs, but knowing that the government, especially some governments in particular, are putting plans in place to help those who are in the greatest need. Those of us who are very high risk of being very ill, if we caught COVID-19, are currently what we call shielding. It's a new term for many, including myself, and it just means you're protecting yourself in the best way you can. It might even mean that for some of us we can't leave the house for a protracted period, but that is called shielding, and it's for our protection, and we need to respect that. Exercise is good. Doing whatever exercise it is to just make sure that we stay healthy and not be a burden on the healthcare system. So yes, living with uncertainty is not as bad as we thought it could be. If I had been told that I would be in the house for weeks and weeks and weeks, maybe months and months and months, and not be able to go out and do all the things that I had planned, it would have filled me with dread. Yes, I'm still anxious about it, sometimes more than others. But we've learned to cope and be resilient in a very short space of time. We've learned about humanity, that there are still some very kind, compassionate people in this world. And we need to focus on those and let the compassion cycle continue. Let us spread joy, let us spread hope, let us spread peace and love and dignity and respect and kindness. Let us be better because of COVID-19. For those of us who know people who have tragically passed away due to COVID-19, it's very hard to continue and be calm, but we must. For their sake, we must be decent. For their sake, we must win. We must overcome. We must honor their memory. It's the least we can do. So living with uncertainty is a better option than the unthinkable. Take care of yourself and each other. Be good. Focus on your circle of influence. Reach out to others who are in need. Be a blessing and be blessed. Until next time, you've been listening to Nicole McIntosh on Maroon Mindset. Take care.